Hi YouTube, Watchify here with another video. This time it's to unbox and go over this Seagull 1963 Chinese Air Force chronograph that I received as a gift recently. I'd been interested in this watch for a long time but never got around to actually buying one. Some might say you're getting a reissue of a historic watch with the military history and what amounts to essentially a Swiss chronograph mechanical movement for only around $200. No wonder this watch is sought after by some collectors. It came in this simple plastic case with foam padding inside. The sticker on the outside translates to China Airlines watch reprint, but that's according to Google Translate, which I don't think it's 100% accurate. It probably really says Chinese Air Force watch reissue. Inside is the watch, and it's on a black and olive colored NATO strap. There's an extra brown vintage style leather strap and a plastic pouch with a small microfiber cloth and the 1-year warranty card and the basic instruction card. The dimensions of this watch are 40mm case size. Lug to lug distance is 50.4 millimeters. The lug width is 20 millimeters and the thickness is going to be 13.7 millimeters. It weighs 73 grams on the included NATO strap and water resistance is only 50 meters with this watch. A brief history of this watch is that it has the Seagull ST19 mechanical movement. That's actually a copy of a Venus 175 Swiss movement that Chinese company Tianjin Watch Factory purchased the rights and machinery to back in the early 1960s. The Chinese government had asked Tianjin Watch to produce a chronograph to be issued to the Chinese military, and it was easier and less costly to buy the rights to the Venus 175 movement than to develop a new one from scratch, is my guess. They added some updates and increased the jewel count to 21 from the original 17 that the Venus 175 had. Tianjin Watch was later renamed to Seagull, and that's how this famous Seagull 1963 watch came to be. I think the connection to the Chinese Air Force and Swiss movement origin is what makes this watch most famous. It seems column wheel chronographs like this one are not that common, and usually only found in far more expensive watch movements than this one. This watch's see-through caseback allows you a good view of the column wheel and the other decorated elements of the movement. You can see the column wheel in action when you start and stop the 30-minute timer. This movement hand winds, but it doesn't have a hacking feature. It's not an automatic movement either, so this means you have to remember to manually wind the watch before its 45-hour power reserve runs out. Placing the watch on my time grapher, I can see that it's running relatively accurately. As I was doing research on this watch, it was tough to tell who actually made this one. As I was looking online, I saw a lot of variations of this watch in 38, 40, and even 42 millimeter sizes. It seems that Seagull sells this movement to different Chinese manufacturers and maybe even licenses the 1963 design to other watchmakers. There is no mention of the brand on the watch, and in the packaging there's only a reference to Hong Kong Sky Timepiece Limited, but I was later able to confirm that this is from a brand named Sugess, with the model being SU1962SW. I'm not sure why they wouldn't state that somewhere, either on the watch or in the packaging material. All I could find out about Sugess is that it's a Chinese watchmaker based in Hong Kong. Browsing their website, I can see they produce a lot of homage type watches. Taking a look at the dial, there are some nice polished gold colored indices that alternate between Arabic numerals and triangular shapes, with the number 4 standing out due to its curved shape. The indices are set against the champagne colored dial, which is the classic dial color for these watches. The black minute track runs along the dial's edge with numerals at every 5-minute mark. There is a second subdial near 9 o'clock and a 30-minute timer subdial near 3. There are some small lume pips on the edge of the dial, and on the hands they're also lumed, but I don't know what formulation it is, and it doesn't appear to be very bright or long-lasting. Lastly, there isn't a date complication on this watch, and that's fine with me. As for wording and logos, there's a red star outlined in gold and 21 Zuan wording, which I understand means 21 jewels, and those are located near 12 o'clock. Near 6 is Chinese characters, which I think translate to Made in China. The pencil-shaped hands are really cool on this watch as they are polished in blue in color. The timer hand on this watch is different than most other 1963 reissue watches in that it's also blue and it has a lume-filled star counterbalance. The end of this hand is painted in red, and most of the other models I see don't have the star counterbalance, and they're just all in red. The subdial hands are also a blue in color to match. So the red, gold, and blue accents against the champagne-colored background somehow works in my opinion. The case is all polished, which I think is easier for them to do, and it cuts down on the cost of adding finish work. As you might expect, the top pusher starts and stops the 30-minute timer, and the bottom pusher resets it. Out of the box, the two pushers have what looks like a blue lacquer or sticker applied to them. I measure the push-pull crown at 6.2 millimeters in width, so it's a good size. And the crown is signed with a polished star set against what looks like a bead-blasted background. You turn the crown clockwise to wind the movement, and it's kind of tough to tell when you need to stop winding. I think if you pay attention, you can gradually feel it getting harder to turn, which it's at that point that I stop. The K-shape is a pretty simple design with flat sides and long downturning lugs. This case doesn't have any drilled lug holes. And the sloping bezel meets a domed sapphire crystal that doesn't have any AR coating. Underneath the case you can see a screw-down case back, but one that I don't currently have a tool to remove. Along the case back is Chinese characters, which I haven't been able to translate yet, but you do see the year 1963. And the word Plan B etched on it. I think Plan B might just be an improper translation of the word reissue, but it's another cool little quirk about this watch. The large see-through window allows you a good view of the movement with its blue screws, purple jewel caps, gold-colored wheels, and decorated elements like the regulating bridge. It's really a gorgeous-looking movement and unlike any others in my watch collection right now. You can get this movement with what's called a swan's neck regulator, which makes it easier to fine-tune the watch's accuracy. With the swan's neck, you just turn a screw rather than trying to nudge the regulation lever like on most mechanical movements. Taking a look at the included straps, the NATO strap is decent quality with polished hardware. It's not branded in any way, and it's a bit shorter in length than what I'm used to seeing. The dark brown leather strap seems to be a pretty good quality as well. It has white stitching, and the metal buckle has a mixture of brushing and polishing. The leather strap has quick release spring bars, so that's nice to see. I think basically this is one of those watches that's going to look good on a wide variety of straps, so I'd say go ahead and experiment to find the one you like most. I think this is a really cool watch to own, and one with an interesting and some would say a confusing background story. There's so many variants with different dial colors, hands, packaging, crystal types, and case backs, with the only thing consistent being the movement used. It's tough to tell if this watch is a true reissue or rather a replica. Like I said, mine is a model SU1962SW made by Sugess, and I'm not sure why it has 1962 rather than 1963 in the model name. Regardless, I like this variant's differences with its star counterbalance and the lume on the dial and hands. I like the column wheel and the Plan B reference on the case back, and I also like the dome sapphire crystal it comes with. I think the 40mm case size is perfect for my 6 3/4 inch wrist. If you don't mind the non-hacking movement and also having to manually wind your watch, This would be a good all-around watch to own if you only wanted to have a single relatively inexpensive watch. I say that because it gives you the chronograph functionality. You can dress it down with a NATO to wear casually or on the weekend, or you could dress it up with a leather strap. Even though this isn't a Japanese brand watch like all but one of the watches in my collection, I'm happy to make an exception for this watch. I know Chinese brand watches carry with them a certain reputation for mostly unoriginal designs and in some cases questionable workmanship, but with this watch and the Seagull 1963, I think you're getting a quality watch, and it's one of the most famous and recognizable Chinese watches you can buy. That's going to be it for this video. If you found it helpful or interesting, feel free to leave a like, comment, or even subscribe to the channel. I wanted to thank you for watching, of course, and hopefully I'll catch you in another video.